Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this observation of International Mother Earth Day. My name is Audrey Kitagawa, and I'm the president and founder of the International Academy for Multicultural Cooperation and president of the Light of Awareness International Spiritual Family. Today's event is co-sponsored by the Global Interfaith Wash Alliance, the Seventh Generation Fund for Indigenous Peoples, the Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation, and the International Academy for Multicultural Cooperation. This year, the theme of the International Mother Earth Day is Our Power, Our Planet, emphasizing the role of individuals and communities in environmental protection. It reinforces the critical point that caring for the earth is not only a scientific or political challenge, but an issue that requires individual and collective awareness and action of all peoples everywhere. In 2009, a United Nations resolution establishing International Mother Earth Day was introduced by Bolivia and adopted by the UN General Assembly, affirming that the earth and its ecosystems are our home and emphasizing the need to live in harmony with nature. The United Nations has been instrumental in raising international awareness of what began as a grassroots movement. The 1972 UN Conference on the Human Environment in Stockholm was the first global environmental conference that acknowledged the relationship between people, other living species, and the health of our planet. It led to the establishment of the United Nations Environment Program. The 2009 UN resolution that proclaimed International Mother Earth Day recognizes Mother Earth as a common expression for the planet, which reflects the interdependence of human beings, other living species, and the planet we all inhabit. It also reflects a view of the earth as a creator, nurturer, and sustainer of life. Many ancient cultures and traditions honor the earth as a living, nurturing mother. In ancient Greece, Gaia is the primordial mother who arose from chaos, the mythological void. In Incan mythology, Pachamama, which translate as Mother Universe, sustains life in the cosmos. In Chinese mythology and religious traditions, Nuwa is a mother of humanity. And in Buddhism, Phra Ma Thorani is revered as Mother Earth, the guardian of the land and a witness to Buddha's virtue. The shared foundation of these diverse interpretations of Mother Earth is relationality, the understanding that human beings are not separate from her, but are her children, her caretakers, her stewards, and we must honor this sacred relationship. Indigenous traditions around the world do share consistent views of how this relationship must be nurtured. The reciprocity, the health of the planet depends on us giving back, not just taking. Sacredness, the earth is not inert matter, but alive and part of the divine. Reverence, offerings, prayers, and ceremonies nurture the relationship with earth. Interconnectedness, humans are part of, not above nature, and have a responsibility to nurture and protect it. These truths reflect wisdom that has been passed down for generations, but are only now being fully recognized within global frameworks for sustainability and environmental protection. With human activities as the main drivers of climate change, we are now facing a triple planetary crisis: climate change, pollution, and biodiversity loss. We are witnessing the consequences of climate change through more frequent and severe droughts, wildfires, rising sea levels, flooding, melting of the polar ice, catastrophic storms, and declining biodiversity. We're also facing a development and security crisis as livelihoods are undermined, inequalities deepen, and the progress towards sustainable development and international peace is jeopardized. We are very fortunate today to have three speakers: Pujya, Sadhvi, Bagawati, Saraswati, Christopher Peters, and Debra Boudreaux, who will share perspectives from their own traditions on Mother Earth and our role in caring for and protecting the planet. Their bios will be put in the chat box as they begin their remarks, and we begin our program with Pujya Sadhvi Bagawati Saraswati. Thank you.
It's such a joy and a blessing to be together with all of you on this sacred Mother Earth Day. Such gratitude to my beloved and respected sister, Audrey Kitagawa, for bringing us together on this critical day and with this critical message. Because these days, the big question is, are we going to survive? And if you're not asking that question, you're having the wrong conversations. Not our individual bodies. Of course, our individual bodies are going to return to dust. But are we going to survive as a species? Our children, our grandchildren, will they have air to breathe, water to drink, soil in which to grow their fruits and vegetables and grains? Will the earth be able to sustain their life? At the rate we're going, the answer is sadly no. But the good news is that if we come together consciously, there's still time to make a huge difference. But this is a time in which it's not technology that's going to save us. It's not science, it's not engineering, it's not politics. It's consciousness. We talk about our global water shortage, our global food shortage, our global land shortage. But the core of all of those shortages is a global consciousness shortage. And so let us together really commit to living with an expanded consciousness, a higher consciousness that takes care of us and takes care of Mother Earth. In the Vedic tradition, the Hindu tradition, there are a few concepts that are really core tenets, pillars of the tradition, and that are specifically related and powerful as messages around the protection of Mother Earth. The first is Vasudev Kutumbakam. It means the world is a family. In our sacred Upanishads, the core of the Vedas, we are reminded that the ignorant are the ones who think us and them, separation. But the wise are the ones who know that the entire world is a family. So not only does that mean humans of every race, every religion, every color, but it also means every species. What we do every minute of every day is impacting our global family. And interestingly, this is not only a teaching of spirituality, but these days quantum mechanics is beginning to catch up and starting to actually prove scientifically what spirituality has been telling us for thousands of years. We are interconnected. Whether you say brother, sister, mother, father, doesn't matter. But the awareness that we are interlinked, interconnected. Quantum mechanics is showing us this. Quantum entanglement, string theory. We're not separate. What we do has a ripple impact across the globe. And what that means is that your shopping cart is sacred. It means what you buy is actually a vote for what type of world we want to live in. Every time we go shopping with the motto of more, 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 cheaper, 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 we're actually harming our sisters and brothers across the planet. We're harming our human sisters and brothers, our children, our women working in sweatshops, the farmers working on fields that are sprayed with toxic chemicals and they're getting cancer and their kids have birth defects. we're harming the planet. But every time we make a choice for organic, for fair trade, for sustainable fashion, we're making a choice that honors our family. So spirituality doesn't say, thou shalt not be fashionable. Thou shalt only wear, robes like the monastic renunciants. It doesn't say that. It just means live consciously, buy consciously, buy things that are honoring and celebrating our family across the world as you go shopping, whatever you're buying. Clothes, shoes, coffee, tea, chocolate, toothpaste, shampoo, sunscreen, moisturizer, whatever we buy has a ripple impact of either honoring or harm. Is it being tested on animals? Is your mascara being smeared into the, skin of bunny rabbits? Is it being produced by grabbing the land of our Indigenous sisters and brothers, by harming the rainforest? So just live consciously. These days, we have access to all of the information. Which companies, which products use slave labor in sweatshops, which are harming the farms, and which ones have sustainable practices, fair wages for the employees, healthy work environment. Let your dollars or your euros or your pounds or your rupees or your yen or whatever currency you're shopping in, let it be a vote for a healthy, sustainable planet and for health for our sisters and brothers. We also speak about ahimsa, which means nonviolence. Yoga, burgeoning now, ubiquitous across the world, on every corner of every city around the world, and that's fantastic. But yoga is not only about the asanas or the postures. The core of yoga is actually what's called yam and niyam, or sometimes in English we say the yamas and niyamas. And it basically means the do's and don'ts of a yogic life. It's not about religion. It's not about language. It's not about God. It's not about anything. It's not about dogma. It's about what we call dharma, a right way of living. So if you're a yoga doer, or if you think you'd like to be a yoga doer, if yoga plays any aspect of your life, the very foundation of yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga that the father of yoga, the sage Patanjali, gave us, is ahimsa, nonviolence. So if we are living in violence through what we buy, we just talked about that, or what we eat, if we're not eating as vegans, we're causing a ripple impact of harm. And I don't mean just to the animals. That part is obvious. It's something like 80 billion animals are killed a year just for food. But even aside from the animals that are killed, animal agriculture is the single greatest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. This is a report by the United Nations. Single greatest contributor. It's the greatest contributor to the deforestation of the Amazon, not oil, meat. It's one of the greatest contributors to the decimation of our water resources. The amount of water that goes into one meal of hamburgers is the amount of water that you use in bathing for 6 months. It's about 1,800 gallons of water. One meal of hamburgers. So if you brush your teeth, if you turn off the tap while you brush your teeth, great. But if after brushing your teeth or before brushing your teeth, we're sitting down to hamburgers, we're causing much more depletion of the planet's water resources. So climate change in terms of greenhouse gas emissions, the depletion of our planet's water, the depletion of our planet's rainforests. It's also one of the greatest contributors to global hunger. So as we choose today for a healthy planet and healthy sisters and brothers with whom we share it, ahimsa or nonviolence is critical. And again, it doesn't mean that you can only eat, broccoli and rice. It means eat consciously. Even if you cut down the amount of meat you eat, it makes a huge, huge difference. We speak about Prakriti, Shrishti. Prakriti means nature, Shrishti means creation. But both of them are seen as embodiments of the divine feminine. As we worship the divine feminine, the mother goddess, we can't simultaneously be harming her or selling off her body. But every time we shop in such a way, eat in such a way, live in such a way that's contributing to a deforestation of this planet or a pollution of water through fashion, we're literally harming that sacred divine feminine, that mother goddess. And in the Hindu tradition, we take the divine feminine, the mother goddess, very seriously. But we also take all of the elements seriously. And we call them the Panch Mahabhut. And in all of our religious ceremonies, our pujas, we offer them fire, earth, air, ether, water, because they're all sacred. We also attach the word Dev or Devta after them. It means the divinity of the air, the divinity of the water, the divinity of the fire. We have to protect it. These days, about 7 million people a year are dying just of air pollution. A huge percentage of it is due to the factories that are trying to keep up with our yearning for more, cheaper. So as we live, as we choose, let us ask ourselves, is this decision, is this purchase, is this meal, is this fashion statement something that protects and preserves this planet, or something that harms it? Because remember, we're not separate from the planet. So it's not like us over here choosing for the planet over there. That which we do to the earth, we do to ourselves. So let us choose very wisely, very consciously, very respectfully, and very lovingly. Thank you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you so much, Pujya Sadhvi, for your wonderful words of wisdom. And so now I'd like to have Chris Peters, highly, highly respected Indigenous leader, to please take the floor. Thank you, Chris.
Well, thank you, Audrey. And I would like to personally thank Audrey for putting on these webinars. They're grateful to everybody, to life itself, and the International Academy for Multicultural Cooperation, of which I'm a board member, and enjoy a very proud board member. We are talking about Mother Earth today. And this day of the 22nd has been proclaimed the Earth Day for all of Earth. And Earth itself is sacred. We need to be aware of that. In terms of Indigenous communities, Earth is by and large the most sacred thing that we have to offer. Land, water, fire, and all of which are elements of the earth. And we need to be cautious of how we use it. A higher consciousness the previous speaker had talked about is so essential. So essential to save what we've got, what we all enjoy, and what we will continue to enjoy. A higher sacredness, a higher consciousness is so essential to what we're doing. My name is Chris Peters. I'm the president of the Seventh Generation Fund for Indigenous Peoples. It's a private foundation, and we raise money globally and re-grant it out to communities, primarily Indigenous communities who don't have access to dollars. And last year we've given quite a few projects, and this year we hope to do the same. I'm also a spiritual leader for the Yurok people. I'm Yurok or Puhlik-lah and Karuk Indian from Northern California. And Puhlik-lah is we refer to Yurok and Karuk Indians, Karukara, as upriver and downriver Indians. Puhlik-lah is actually the word we use for mentioning our people as downriver people. We are downriver people. And I have had the honor of serving as the person who says the prayers for a high ceremony in our community. And that ceremony is called a jump dance or a Puhlik-lah. And we take pride in doing that ceremony because it's an earth healing, an earth renewing ceremony. And we do that on a biannual basis. And Hupa is another neighboring tribe. They do it on the years that we are quiet. We don't do the ceremonies. The ceremony, it prides itself on balance. We have a balance on the right side and the left side of the people that come to dance. We dress them in such a way that they are balanced. We believe in the concept of balancedness, that everything is in balance. The world is in balance. And right now with the current administration, the world is not in balance. We know that. How do we get that world back in balance? Is through ceremony, through a higher consciousness, through our own individual efforts to be able to reestablish balance throughout the universe, throughout the earth itself. And I think that's an important concept of balancedness. We understand that the ancestors approach from the opposite side of the dance line, and the ancestors give us wisdom, give us sacredness, give us the understanding of that we're doing things right. And we believe that and the women take care of the elders as they come, the ancestors as they come. They feed them, they take care of them, and we respect that aspect of it. A part of the ceremonies is high mountain ceremony. And I'll get to the high mountain medicine as we speak a little bit further on. But the current administration in the United States alone, and in many countries, are swaying toward a conservative approach to how the earth is kept. And unfortunately, that concept, that conservative belief system is damaging to the earth, is damaging to the sacredness of Mother Earth. We look at the continuation of gas and oil, at the sacrifice of the bear's ear, at the sacrifice of Chaco Canyon, and we look at the new trend in automobiles is lithium and mining and the cars that are run on electricity, and unfortunately that is causing damage to sacred places. Lithium mining in Tucker Pass is destroying the sacredness of that area, and they're talking about huge amounts of lithium mining in that area. The current administration in the United States is detrimental to the earth. We need to be aware of that. We need to be understanding of how individually we can make decisions and make policy changes within the United States to correct what is being done. Right now, we are looking at a administration that is leaning toward destruction of the earth. The policies established is leading toward destruction. Some people say 10 to 15 years that we have left to make a formal decision, a conscious decision, a mental decision to change the direction that we are going in currently. And right now, it's difficult to get people to understand that, they have the willpower, they have the higher consciousness to bring about the change that is necessary. We need to bring about massive changes in what we're doing. The current administration is detrimental to the earth, and we need to be aware of that, and we need to change that. And we understand that is true. I have served as the person who says prayers for the jump dance for the past 30 years. I've also been, and I hate to say I have been, it's so far against our tradition to say that, but I have been the one that wears the paint for another high dance, the Saraswati, the white deerskin dance ceremony. And for 13 years, I wore the paint for that particular ceremony, said the prayers for the sacred ceremony. Both of them, we dance in lines, and the balance of the earth and the balance of the line is so important. How we keep the planet in line is to balance out how we live, how we as human beings will be on this planet in a balanced form of existence, and how we take care of the earth has to be in balance. And the Saraswati way, the white deerskin dance, we understand it. It is the white deer that we dance with. They come across from the spirit world to help us understand, to believe, and to understand how the world is going to be made new again. That is an earth renewal ceremony, and we dance with them. And in front of the line, we have flint carriers. The flint carriers pass back and forth across the center of the line. And in between, historically, they click the flint, and that marks the beginning of the earth, beginning of who we are as human beings, that spark that flies. And we understand that what we're doing is not something in symbolicness, that we are doing a ceremony that is true to the meaning of life. We are creating life. The jump dance ceremony, this Ratchapirway, or excuse me, the Puhlik-lah ceremony. It is a ceremony that we are healing the earth. We do that on a biannual basis. We understand that we believe that we are in the process of how our ancestors has passed down through generations and generations, that we are actually healing the earth. We are in the process of healing the earth, making it new again, recreating it. And to be able to do that, we have to be live a good life. We have to be we call it Karuk, a good human being. And how we exist in life is through a higher consciousness, an ability to understand how the world is put together, to be able to understand that, to be able to recreate it on a biannual basis is so important to what we do as ceremony. the Purgurk is a good man, is a good medicine man, is a good person. And the Purgurk lives a good life, takes care of, and here's the bell. It takes care of how we as human beings should exist. And what we eat, what we consume is so important to the process of higher consciousness. It affects our brain, our ability to understand and to live a good life. So we understand that, and we have a process of high mountain medicine, and high mountain medicine is we are in the process of making a pilgrimage to a prayer place that we have gone historically for thousands and thousands of years. They're off the reservation. They don't exist within our jurisdiction. We have to go and break the law, if you will, to go into to national forests or to parklands or to other areas that have been colonized by non-indigenous people who don't understand what we're doing. And sometimes that's a battle. Sometimes that is a fierce battle. So I think, in the high mountain medicine, we ask for the authority. It comes through us as we go back down to do the ceremonies. Nothing comes from us, but it comes through us as human beings. And as we prepare for do a prayer or do a ceremony, we ask for the power, the authority to be able to conduct that authority and conduct that ceremony. And that passes through us as we suggest. We ask for the power to do it. The Purgurk, the World Renewal Ceremony, the Healing the Earth Ceremony, we ask for the authority, the permission from the higher powers to be able to do that ceremony, to conduct that ceremony. And I'll save my last comments to the end.
Thank you so much, Chris Peters. And of course, as a body politique, we all have the power of the single vote to create change. So thank you so much for your very beautiful and powerful sharing. So now I'd like to call upon Debra Boudreaux to please share. Thank you so much, Debra.
Thank you, Audrey. And it's such a wonderful moment to spend Earth Day with everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are, distinguished guests, respect spiritual leaders, and dear friends. Such a dynamic conversation we have. And with the deep humanity, I'm honored to share today from Buddhist tradition, guided by the teachings of the Buddha and Dhamma Master Zeng Yan. My name is Debra Boudreaux from Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation. Today, we gather not only to reflect on Earth Day, but to reflect on our relationship with the Earth, and of course, ultimately, how we choose to live. In Buddhism, we do not see ourselves as separate from nature. All lives is interconnected. We've been here, our panelists mentioned about independent and sacred. The earth is not just a resource. She's our earth mother. When we breathe with the forest. When we drink water, we receive the gift of the earth. This understanding is not symbolic. It is deeply real. At the heart of Buddhist, she teaching us is interdependency, what we call dependent origination. Nothing exists alone. Everything arises in a relationship. When nature suffers, humanity suffers. To harm the earth is to harm ourselves. So today, what we call the climate crisis is not only an environmental issue, it is a crisis of relationship. We can understand this through a simple living system on the screen. Human systems, natural systems, and of course, future generations. Each depends on the other. Mutual dependence becomes shared responsibility. And every decision we make today becomes the lived reality of those who come after us, the young generation. This is not only sustainability, this is about responsibility. In Tzu Chi, we express this through what we call a circular compassion model. From consumption to waste, to recycling, to resource, to relief, to dignity, back to the community. This is a compassion emotion. This is what we call a compassion economy. A single plastic bottle, once discarded, can become a blanket. The blanket warms a disaster survivor. What was once waste just become a dignity. Through this model, we have seen measurable impact. Millions of PET bottles recycled annually. A global movement toward plant-based living. Humanitarian relief reaching communities across continents. But beyond numbers, the most important transformation is the transformation of human consciousness. Impact is not only what we deliver, it is who we become. So in Buddhism, we don't see ourselves as separate from the earth. So the question is no longer what we know, but how we choose to live. Today, we face a difficult reality. When forests disappear, suffering increase. When water is polluted, life is diminished. And in every climate disaster, it is always the most vulnerable suffered first and suffer most. This calls us not only to awareness, but to action. Dharma Master Zeng Yan teaches us 3 simple but profound values. Gratitude, in Chinese, we say 感恩. Respect, in Chinese, we pronounce 尊重. Love, 爱, we share with the regular daily practice. Gratitude for what the earth provides. Respect for all living beings. Love expressed through action. These are not ideals. These are daily practice. This invites us to shift our way of living from extraction to stewardship, from taking to protecting. Practice number 1, vegetarianism. And we begin with simple practices: vegetarian living, recycling, and compassion relief. From the vegetarian living, a plant-based lifestyle is compassion in daily life. It reduces harm to all beings. It's lower our expectation. And it's also reduce the carbon footprint. It brings awareness to what we consume. One meal may seem little, small, but one meal multiplied across millions of peoples can change the world. Now, recycling. In Tzu Chi, recycling is not only environmental work, it is spiritual cultivation. Across the world, our elderly volunteers, some in their 70, 80, even 90, quietly separate, sorting recyclable every day. They transform waste into useful resources. The transformation action into compassion. As what we say, purify the environment, purify the mind. Third, disaster relief. When disasters strike, we serve with dignity. Not only provide immediately aid, but support long-term recovery with sustainability and resiliency. Compassion must not only relieve suffering, it must restore hope and rebuild the future. See the beautiful smile wrapping with a recycling blanket for these 2 beautiful children. Every resources we use carries the effort of countless life. So in Buddhism, we see the earth as a living being. This living being makes us to think about every resources we use. We carry the effort of countless lives. A discipline of living with the Jingsi 6R, what we call reduce, reuse, recycle, repair, refuse, rethink. This is more than environmental practice. It is a discipline of mindfulness living. It transforms our lifestyle into a path for spiritual cultivation. On the screen, you see the Jingsi foldable furniture system, from the table, chair, bed, storage. Every resources is come back to our community. So a lot of time we are thinking, in this world, we are not separate with the earth. Earth is a living being. Every resources carry a strong actions. This invites us to live with mindfulness and to choose stewardship over ownership. So, do I take more than I need? Do my action create suffering? And perhaps most importantly, what kind of world am I helping to create? Across all faith traditions, we share a common calling to protect the vulnerable, to care for creation, to act with humanity. Faith communities are not only voices, we are agents of change. So today I would like to invite each of us to begin with one simple action each day. like a Coco, Gorilla Foundation. You can do a plant-based meal, reducing what we consume, or simply taking a moment to express gratitude to the earth. Because when we goodness gather, it becomes a great voices. Let us not wait for the change. Let us become a change together with our Mother Earth. This is how compassion becomes measurable, tangible, and truly global impact. Serving with compassion, rooted in Dhamma, expanding to structural impact. Let us not wait for change. Let us become the changer, mover, shaker together with Earth Mother. Thank you. Amitofo.
Thank you so much, Debra Boudreaux. It's been such a privilege to hear such words of wisdom and insight from our speakers. And I would now like to give each speaker an opportunity to give us their conclusory comments for this webinar. So we begin with Pujya Sadhvi.
What a joy to be together today with all of you. And as we conclude, I come back to another core Hindu concept and tenet and tradition that we call karma yoga. And what karma means action. Yoga literally means union. So it is action that arises out of a remembrance of our union with the divine, the creator, and our union with the creation. And it's not about just sitting in our houses of worship and praying. It's actually about action. That action, spirituality in action, prayer in action, faith in action. And so on this beautiful day, we have such a wonderful opportunity to make a choice. So many of us feel helpless. We see what's going on in the Middle East. We see what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. We see what's going on across the planet with violence, with harm, with exploitation. And in so many cases, there really is very little that so many of us can do other than pray, other than come together in the streets. But for our Mother Earth, actually, every minute of our day makes a huge impact. Every shopping trip, every meal, everything we eat, everything we buy, everything we wear, how we travel has an impact. And so we shouldn't feel overwhelmed. We should feel empowered to use our karma, to use our action, to use our meal times, to use our grocery shopping, to use our fashion as a way to actually make a difference in all of the places that we have the power to make a difference. Our faith gives us our yes, and it gives us our no. So let us use our faith today, not just in words, but in actions, in no to harm, to exploitation, to oppression, to illness of the planet and of all of our sisters and brothers with whom we share it, and a yes to living consciously, because our consciousness is actually what separates us from animals. And when we're not living consciously, we're not harnessing the power of our human incarnation. So let us harness that power to live consciously, to live with love, to live with faith, to live with remembrance of our interconnection, interdependency, and our oneness. Thank you so much for the beautiful opportunity to be together with all of you today. And so, so much love to you all.
Thank you so much, Pujya Sadhvi ji. And now, Chris Peters, you have the floor.
Good. I didn't get a chance to talk about high mountain medicine, but high mountain medicine is practiced throughout Indigenous world and throughout Indigenous communities in the United States, and the process is prayer, is unification with that Almighty Spirit that brings us the power to be able to do the ceremonies that we do. To request that authority, that permission, that engagement again, that we can bring that medicine down from the mountaintops to communities, and that's a significant part of our ceremonies. In 1988. We were involved in a Supreme Court case in the United States that basically took away from Indigenous peoples the authority, the permission to be able to do the ceremonies at the local level. The high mountain medicine was not, mountaintops were not put on reservations. Reservations were created for concentration camps, if you will. And a lot of the spirit places, a lot of the places that are off the reservation, are on parklands, on national forest lands, are away from Indigenous peoples. So we have to break the law, if you will, to be able to practice ceremonies, and we do, and oftentimes we befriend a rancher or somebody that has access to medicine places, and we use those medicine places on an ongoing basis. And I think it's important to understand that we have a continuation of ceremonies. Oak Flat is in serious trouble as we speak. The elimination of Oak Flat for industrial purposes, for mining, for gas and oil development, will literally explode Oak Flat completely, tear it down and move it away, and people will not have access. We were looking at logging practices in Northern California, and roading of ceremonial areas, and right now we have our religious leaders have no litigative recourses within the American judicial process, that we cannot bring an action for religious purposes in judicial process, and that's unfortunate. And we encourage you to look at the case that was involved in, Ling versus the United States, or Ling versus Northwest Indian Cemetery, and get some hindsight on the plight that Native peoples have. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris Peters. And now, Debra Boudreaux, you have the floor.
Wow. In Buddhism, we say karma to bring everyone together. And as we come to the close of today's Earth Day, this wonderful moment we spend time together, I would like to return to a simple yet profound truth. We are not separate from the earth. We are part of her. Throughout today's dialogue, we have heard powerful voices reminding us that environmental challenges are not only scientific or political, they are deeply moral and spiritual responsibilities. From a Buddhist perspective, this is the principle of interdependence. When the earth suffers, humanity suffers. When we restore balance, we restore life itself. As Tzu Chi, we strive to translate this understanding into action. We have seen how compassion becomes tangible and measurable. Through recycling millions of plastic bottles into blankets that bring warmth to disaster survivors. Through promoting plant-based diets, we change the lifestyle. And this is what we call compassion economy, where every act of care creates a circle of renewal, from waste to resources, from resources to relief, and from relief back to community. Today is not only what organization can do, it's about what each of us choose to do next. Dharma Master Zheng Yan reminds us that transformation begins with 3 simple values: gratitude, respect, and love. These small actions, 3 simple values, really bring us to a different level. Let's not wait for the change. Let's become the changer together with the Mother Earth. Thank you very much. Amitabha.
Thank you so much, Debra. And annual remembrances like we are holding today are very critical to deepening our insight and turning awareness into action. So our topic today is one that deserves daily reflection because our very existence is irrevocably tied to Mother Earth, and her well-being remains critical to our well-being, as each of our speakers have so wonderfully articulated. So referring to our planet as Mother Earth humanizes and personalizes her and places us in a loving and mutually nurturing relationship. It reinforces that we are personally connected to the entire natural world and that our behaviors and policies must enhance the well-being of all living beings and natural systems. We are all born of our mothers, and the relationship between a mother and child is fundamental to our ability to thrive. The word nature comes from the Latin root to be born, reminding us that we are not separate from the earth, but of it. So this relationship extends to all of life and natural systems, and we are born from the same divine source as the land, the air, the oceans, all planets and plants and animals. And it is a vast and shared inheritance. So caring for the natural world requires a transformation of perspective. It must be protected, not exploited. A new study concluded that between 1990 and 2020, the world's wealthiest 10% were responsible for 2/3 of the increase in average global temperatures. And another study showed that in 2019, the richest 1% emitted as much planet-heating pollution as the 5 billion of the world's poorest people. In particular, the lifestyle and investment choices of the wealthy directly contribute to climate change, a threat multiplier that disrupts environmental and social systems, particularly in developing regions. So human activities have also led to ongoing biodiversity loss, and the rate of species loss is greater than at any other time in human history. And the planet has lost an estimated 58 to 68% of its biodiversity since 1970. So human survival is threatened by the resulting food insecurity, climate change, and growing risk of infectious diseases. So no single perspective or effort can address the challenges we face. Scientific understanding and political action are essential, but must be augmented by knowledge rooted in lived experience, ancient traditions, and value systems that honor a respectful, reverent relationship with Mother Earth. Indigenous knowledge systems, often carried through women and spiritual traditions, offer insights focused on nurturing, sustaining, and perpetuating natural systems. Indigenous perspectives do not replace scientific approaches, but rather they deepen and strengthen them. The bounty and abundance of God's gift is incomprehensible, and we must never take it for granted. The living elements of our shared home, land, water, air, plants, and animals are all precious and important parts of the sacred source that created life on Earth. They're not merely resources to be taken and used. They are complex and beautiful parts of the incredible tapestry of life, each element intimately related to the others, complementary and dependent on each other. In his last Christmas Eve sermon at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Georgia in 1967, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. expressed this idea simply and eloquently. He said, "It really boils down to this, that all life is interrelated. We are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied into a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one destiny affects all indirectly." My deepest appreciation to our speakers, co-sponsors, and all of you who joined us today to honor International Mother Earth Day. We express our deepest appreciation to Mother Earth, upon whose health and well-being we depend upon for our health and well-being. May we treat her always with the great respect and care that she deserves. Thank you all for joining us today.